I went out there and helped Dad with the stuff we got that done. We got water going to them trees. Now tomorrow we got to finish digging in a little deeper on the on the south end tree. We got the north end tree perfect. We got water running to it. We dug a right in front of where the water goes in. We dug like a little drop off ditch where all the mud will go into there and won't go into the holes. It's hard. There's a big piece of equipment backed up on that cement slab and cracked up the center portion of those of the concrete tubes that go to the trees. And some skunks moved into one part, so part of it broke off, and critters can get up underneath it and dig down and live in there. So I'd say the east end's got two good pipes still going through that go all the way through, but they all go through each other because they're cracked up in the center. But the east end, the center, and the two east ones are all cracked up real bad, and most of the water kind of goes into somewhere else. So it might have been squirrels that was in there first, and then skunks moved in or whatever. That's what I'd be thinking. And because there's lots of nutshell coming out of there, more than you would regularly think, right? And so I got the stuff on up out of there. I got the two west side pipes going through pretty clean. So we'll put some wire mesh in front of that on the north end. And then every time we irrigate, I'll just put the spigot on the hose and make sure it's washed, make sure it's running clean. And I think we'll be all right once I dig about. Dad did it. It was really smart. I didn't do it last time. I just hoed it. I didn't dig it down. He dug down he's digging down where it comes into the concrete there. He dug down about a foot deep to where the water comes in. And then once it fills it up, all the mud will settle down in there and won't carry into the tubes. And when it gets into those center portions, it's more than just mud in those center portions. There's concrete and broke up concrete where something went up on that driveway and crunched it. And so, because it's cracked right in the center towards the thing. So, but those two work, and that'll work for now. As long as I got two 6-inch, two 6-inch lines. It's 24 feet going across, and I got them. I know once Dad grinded off the side of an old hoe, and I went and stuck them way back in there. I got about 5 to 6 feet on each side, and then I stuck the hose up in under there. And I know I'm doing good. I pushed and pushed to where I could get 16 feet of hose under there. That's as far as it could go. Then I pulled it out, and I pushed through the other side. Then I put it back through. And usually when I start putting water in towards the south end, it usually comes back out the south end, and maybe a little bit comes out the north end. But then when I went back through the north down to south, it blasted some stuff through finally and kicked out whatever was in the way in the middle. And then I could take that hose and shove it 16 feet all the way up into the till it stopped whatever it got stuck on, going south to north, and I could push water south to north. So when I can get water coming out with that hose going uphill, I know I've got a good line there. So we did that, and so it was a pain. But I told Dad that. I know it's all busted up in there because you put the hose in and you try to wash one line out, and then the water starts coming out. We call them 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I can put the hose in 1, and the water starts coming out of 4. Yes. What? Yeah. You can put it in there, and most of the water, you're putting the water to blast the dirt out of 1, and more water's coming out of 4 than it is coming out of 1. So I told him that. He looked at me and, no, it's not. I said, Dad, no, it's busted up in there. Why? You can just tell. Because when you dig up in there as far as you can with tools and some implements, and then you stick the water in there to snake it out, when you start snaking it out of 1, and most of the water that you're putting in 1 comes out of 4, you know it's busted up in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a rocket scientist, and I'm not a neurosurgeon, but you know what I'm saying? Something's busted up in the middle there, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, finally we got it to where we can get it going through real smooth with a lot of water, and the water going through smoothly, going from downhill south up to north, going uphill, and push the water out with the hose and the spigot, the hose spigot on there. So it's going through. So we got water. So those trees, that makes me happy. We were having to use the hose on those trees, and we couldn't get as good and as much water as we wanted on it, and that upset us with those 2 trees, because we look at the other trees. It's not fair when all the other trees are getting water and you ain't getting a drink. It's sad. Can you imagine what that'd be like? Have 20 kids in a classroom and 18 come in, and how much, you guys want some ice cream and something to drink? It's so hot, and here's a popsicle. And then the kids, what about you? You got sweat? Suck on that. Those 2 trees were like, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah. So every time they'd irrigate and it wouldn't go through, I'd remember, okay, I'd go out there and get the hose and give them some water, But now it's good to go. So I feel better. It makes you feel good. Farming work is always hard. You got to get down on your hands and knees. You got to dig in dirt. You got to shove in there. You got to pull it out. You got to do this. You got everything you do on a farm, especially in the Southwest. Everything has a bite to it, and it's going to bite you. Pecan trees out here, they bite you. They grow. Suzuki said that, things in the desert, they grow kind of angry and aggressive because they need to, because they get very little water. So they grow out, they're gnarly, and they're bite you, and everything grows that way in the desert. In certain parts where it's not like that, they grow differently, but there's always something to be aware of and be careful about in nature. When something's trying to stay alive, it can do things to stop you from destroying it or killing it. So you have to have the utmost regard and respect for nature when dealing with nature. Okay, that if you put too much carbon emission poisoning and tartar particles in the air, the plants will put out things in the air that cause diseases in you to kill you and your offspring, because you are the biggest threat to the plants. That's biology 101, I'm pretty sure. I dropped out of school because it was genocidal and insane. But, I just did this by reading Henry David Thoreau and just watching my reaction in my environment. I haven't checked Madame Curie, but watched a little bit of Richard Feynman and about toothbrushing and stuff, and then just did the physics on it and went, okay, I realized today, and I was explaining that too, I have an uncommon immune system, and I have uncommon strength, intellect, and capacity to survive. Now, there was a man when I was a kid who I admired. His name was Dr. Franco Colombo. Okay, he was one of the most decorated, and probably, in my opinion, had the best body and was the most scientifically accurate and the most symmetrical and best body in bodybuilding that I had ever seen. He was better than Frank Zane. Frank Zane did things out of what the people wanted. Dr. Franco Colombo made a science of it, and his body was a literal science experiment. The man could pull a train car with a thing between his teeth. He was Schwarzenegger's top rival, and Schwarzenegger always beat him because he was taller, and they said he had better symmetry and he was more symmetrical. It's like, how can you do that? Schwarzenegger's got nice legs, but fucking Colombo's got, his calves look like diamonds. Hell, his whole goddamn body looks like he's got diamonds all over it. Dr. Franco Colombo was stronger. He was 5 foot, like 4 or 6. Okay. Arnold Schwarzenegger was 6 foot 4 or 5. Okay. But Dr. Franco Colombo, I would bet you if they got into it, would kick Arnie's ass all over the parking lot and back home again. Oh, if I were you, I'd put my money on the little guy. Oh, the one who can pull a train car with his teeth. Okay. No, it's like, and he was by far the most scientifically valid and best, and he's an extremist, obviously, which is not healthy. But yeah, as far as bodybuilder goes, Dr. Franco Colombo. But I have a more uncommon body and immune system than Dr. Franco Colombo. Well, verily I say to you, when you pray, don't do it in public for the human beings and all their stuff. Do it in private, okay? I don't know if Franco Colombo could survive being poisoned by the military and be kind and intelligent and ask them to stop, remind them that he could kill them with his bare hands anytime he desired, but will not do it because he needs to be the example for technology to understand the thoughts language and actions and applications of physics of the Lord's Prayer. I just don't think Dr. Franco Colombo's capable of doing that because he never did, and if he's still alive, he hasn't. So I have an uncommon mind, body, because the soul that provides life to this body, the Holy Spirit that provides life to this body, is holy. Dr. Franco Colombo, he's a doctor. Me, I'm holy, like Moses. Yeah. Remember my cousin Bob? Send us another brother Moses, gonna cross the Red Sea. Movement of God's people. Exodus. You can exodus. You can exit. You can, this situation, all right, honey, there's just no reason to keep playing this cruel, heartbreaking game. If you feel like moving on, just say something. You know, I just might feel the same. I know you're fine, ever so am I. You can exit anytime. Thanks, Val. That was one of the best tapes you ever brought home, man. Stoplight, hold it right there. Don't proceed unless you care. Stoplight, only turns green. This is all you Gloria Gaynor appreciators. I'm not a fanatic. I appreciate Gloria Gaynor's songs. She had a wonderful voice. She still does. I've heard her sing on commercials with Charles Barkley. What's that other guy's name? Spike Lee. And Sam Jackson. It'll get you drunk, right? Okay. Is that a beach towel? Man, that's the ugliest beach towel I've ever seen. And if Samuel Jackson don't believe that, next time make sure your wife's on that beach towel, okay? That beach towel is ugly. Sam Jackson, next time you have a beach towel, make sure your wife's picture's on it. If I'm gonna lay in the sand on the beach, I wanna lay on something pretty, not something ugly. Well, maybe I wanna lie on something ugly so nobody else will look at it. Okay, I'll take your towel instead. Yeah. Your wife's towel? I'll put up in the room and say, isn't she pretty? Stevie Wonder goes sing a song about her. All right, you have a nice day. Well, Shaft, you show up. If you don't show up, I'm going to kick your ass till you do. Try to pass the cookies and ring, Magic's going to steal it. He steals lots of things, especially dreams from children that want to live the Lord's Prayer. You might want to show up too. Try not to block Charles' shot. Okay, I love you, all right? Peace out, man. Airport lounges.